and thanks so much for tuning into Sin's Workshop. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Today we are going to be reviewing Bloodguard by C.C. Robson, and this is the latest by Red Tower Books. I'm laughing at myself because I don't think I've written such a scathing review. I did not like this book at all. And I really wish I did. So this book is supposed to be Dungeons and Dragons meets Gladiator. First of all, it didn't remind me of D&D at all. It reminded me more of the Shannara Chronicles, the TV show more specifically. That's what it reminded me of. And, you know, that didn't bother me at all because I love the Shannara Chronicles. So I was like, okay, not quite D&D, but Shannara Chronicles, I can get behind that as I was reading it because it does have that feel to it. And then I started reading more of the book. First of all, Leith is so whiny in the beginning. He's so whiny. He's a gladiator by choice, by the way. By choice. Yes. The world outside of Arrow kind of sucks. It's, you know, people are half starved, whatever. You know, it sucks. They are living in third world situations where they're starving and kids have to work and hurt themselves working. So Leith, you know, decides, I'm going to enter these gladiator games and I'm going to do it to get my sisters and my mom out of poverty and into a situation where I can take care of them. Right? Honorable. Completely honorable. But the whining about it, oh my god, he's whining about his wounds, he's whining about the situation, how unfair it is, how the elves suck, and how it's just awful, and I'm just, that's just the first 3 chapters. I was over it real quick. I'm like, oh my god, just shut up already. We get it. Your situation sucks. You chose to do it, though. Fully aware that it was a completely rigged game and that you were going to have to do what you needed to do to survive and it was probably going to break you. He acknowledges that. And then he just continues to whine about it. So I wasn't really attracted to Leith as my main male character at all. Alright. Add to that, you have a lot of excessive cursing. Now, I am not opposed to cursing. I have a sailor's mouth myself. If you knew me in person, every other word out of my mouth is usually a curse word. I'm trying to be better for, you know, I've got 2 kids. One's a 5 and one's 3. But when I'm at work, when I'm hanging out with my friends, my mouth is just... my friend's joke, I probably was a pirate in the past life. You know, that's how familiar I am with cursing. So when I say the cursing is so excessive, it was excessive. To me, it was excessive. Even when I do my own writing and I'm typing and I'm like, oh, there are way too many curse words in this page. I need to filter them out, you know, because there are better things to do. This is why I handwrite everything first and then type. There are better ways to express frustration than by constantly cursing, you know? It felt very forced, and it felt really out of place. And it just made the novel feel very cheap and very vulgar, and I was, like, so turned off from it. So I ended up putting the book down for 2 days. I didn't read it Saturday, I didn't read it Sunday. I was like, I don't even know if I want to finish this book. And I was talking to my friends, like, maybe you should just DNF it. I'm like, I was in a kind of a bad headspace. I am manic depressive, so I was kind of having an episode. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just go back to reading it when I was in a better headspace. So, you know, episode passed. I'm like, you know what? Let's start reading it again. And I did. And for a while there, it felt like it was getting better. So I was just thinking to myself, oh, maybe it was just my mindset. Maybe I just wasn't in a good mindset to start this book. So I started reading it again. And, you know, after 2 days of not reading, and it felt like it was getting better. Oh, and then it backtracked so badly. First of all, there's a huge chunk in there where he's not in the gladiator fights at all. It's just him and Maeve getting to know each other in the situation, and her trying to keep him out of the games, except she can't keep him out of the games because if she wants to marry him the way she wants to, he needs to become the Bloodguard, and in order to become a Bloodguard, he has to fight. But there's like a huge chunk in there where there's no gladiator fighting, which I'm like 50-50 on that, because at least it did allow for some character dynamic to be established. You know, you went from these two kind of forming an alliance, and then they're becoming friends, and you think it's going to be the pacing and the situation make it feel like it's going to be a slow burn romance. No, it instantly turns into an insta-love trope, and that was really annoying for me too, because I really do think that Robson was on the right track with focusing more on the character dynamics and the relationship and them getting to know each other and kind of become friends. You know, I was really here for that. And that's why I thought the book was becoming better. And then the sex scenes happened. And the first sex scene was like, okay, it wasn't cringy or anything. It was just there, and I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. So we're going for the insta-love trope. Got it. Which was a little annoying, because I do felt like it was pulling away from, you know, that development of their dynamics. And then you had the second sex scene. And that was really, really cringy. It was so cringy. I was like, why did I continue to read this book? Why did I not DNF it? This is why it was cringy. Okay, so here's a little spoiler. And I have no qualms about spoiling it for you guys because I think you need to be aware of it. So they're having sex on a table, right? The table's up against the wall. She's laying on the table, clearly. And obviously they're having sex, they're going at it. The sentence is just bang, 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 bang. Seriously, it's 5 words of the same word. Having sex, bang, 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 bang. More sex, and him saying the rhythmic pounding was matching their movements. And to me, that was just so cringy. And then we went back to the excessive cursing again. And again, it felt really out of place. It felt very forced. It made me feel really uncomfortable. And I even gave like that page to a couple of my friends. I'm like, is it just me or is this cringe? And I watched their faces as they read it, and they're like, oh, they're like, this is bad. I'm like, okay, so it's not me. They're like, no, this is bad. It was really cringy. It was just really cringy because the excessive cursing was just really out of place in that scene, considering the world. It just didn't fit. It was really cringy, and then that whole sentence of just saying bang 5 times was just, what am I reading? I literally laughed when I was reading it, because I was just like, am I really reading this? Is this really happening? Because if I were an editor, I would have just chucked that line. I would have just chucked the whole sentence. Just gotten rid of that paragraph. Because you don't need it. Especially when he's talking about how the table banging against the wall is matching their movements. You don't need that sentence there if you're already going to reestablish it with his narrative. It was unnecessary. So if I were an editor, I would have just gotten rid of it. The thing is, she does it again with sword fighting. I am not kidding. The paragraph is cling, clang, cling. And again, I'm like, what is this? This is so trite and this is so rudimentary. Like, this is not good writing. It makes me angry. It makes me very angry. I've never written such a scathing review because I just, at that point, we're at the end of the book, and I'm like, why did I finish reading this book? Why did I not DNF it? I should have just trusted my first instinct and DNF'd it. But I really did think it was getting better. I really, really did. It was not good. And at the end, Maeve was just pissing me off. She was really pissing me off. I just wanted to take her own sword and cut her head off. And just, I really just wanted her to tell her to shut up and listen. Just shut up and listen. I just wanted to smack her and tell her she was so stupid. Which was really annoying because for most of the book, she actually does have a good personality. And she really does have, like, good characterization. It is a little two-dimensional at times. She's not, like, the best character ever. Like, these characters are not, woo, they're gonna blow your mind. No, they're not. It's really rudimentary. It's kind of trite. It's like Robson decided to take every cliche she knows about gladiators and put it in the book. And it kind of annoys me that they're just like, oh, yeah, D&D meets gladiator. Like, no, this is... Just because it has dwarves and... mythical beasts and elves and orcs. I mean, that's any fantasy. That's not specific to D&D. There are lots of fantasies that have multiple or many fantastical species in it, you know? It was a bad book, okay? It was a bad book. Don't read it. Or go ahead and read it and make your own decision. You know, I'm not one to tell you. I'm not one to tell you to not read a book. That's wrong of me. I think everyone should form their own opinions. My opinion is it's a bad book and should not be read. I'm not surprised that the publication for this book was pushed back 3 times, because it was. I am not surprised by that after reading this book. I really do think it needs another round of editing. I think it needs another round of developmental editing. Someone needs to go through this book because it does have potential. It has potential. It was just poorly executed, and I hated every moment of it. So, yeah, this book gets 1.5 stars. 2 if I'm being generous, and that's only because I finished the damn thing. And because I do see the potential in it. But seriously, that writing was trite, and the storytelling was trite, the writing was rudimentary. It just was lackluster all around, honestly. I don't think I've ever done such a scathing review. Sorry, not sorry. But if you liked the book, good for you. I'm glad you did. And if you didn't like the book, well, then join the club. In any case, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with all your book-loving friends. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And as always, happy reading.